Check that. Sports fans, we are live. Welcome to the Sports Behavior Podcast. I'm your host, OG the Beast, here with me, as always. Y'all already know. There's no me without him. That's Chilltown 32. Unc, how you running?
Hey, in fact, playoffs is here. Uh, Basketball season, we in the middle of it. We in the dog days of basketball season, by the way, around from January to about the middle of March. These are the dog days of basketball right now.
Definitely,
Absolutely.
definitely. This is when everybody should have a conditioning in place, even with all the COVID protocols slowing folks down. Everybody should have their legs up underneath them by this point. No excuses. What you averaging right now is probably what you're going to average around when the year is completed, right?
Yeah.
Great show today. You know, we had some coaches, some coaches get fired yesterday. You know, it's Black Monday. You know, when they fired, usually the team waits until the day after the season is over with to get the firing who they about to fire. Some can't wait, but for the most part, it was a few coaches got fired on Monday, rightfully so for majority of them. We got some
hmm
playoff predictions, pack weekend of playoff football. I can't wait for it. I'm ecstatic for it. Eagles play the Bucks. We got a good one with the Cardinals and the Rams again for like the third time this year. We got a couple Cowboys play the Niners. We got a couple of good ones we're going to get into. We also going to create a list of a team, right? Y'all know I'm the CEO of creating these lineups, right?
And adjusting cap too. This is the
Facts.
CEO of adjusting cap and nonsense. So if you got
Yes.
some nonsense, don't think for 1 second that my nephew over here ain't coming to see you.
Facts, facts, facts. When I was on YouTube, one of my slogans was, and if you think I'm speaking that nonsense, holler at me down in them comments. Like, hey,
Come
the
see
cap
me.
adjustment, and you know I love to create these lineups, man. So we're going to create a most overrated team for the NFL. That should be spicy. I'm interested to see how that turns out. But I want to kick the show off with something, right? First of all, shout out to everybody on YouTube, the lawyers on YouTube. We growing slowly but surely over there on YouTube. If you don't know, you can't catch the show live on Twitch. It definitely will be up on YouTube the next day. We got a decent loyal fan base over there. Shout out to those guys if you're new to the channel. Don't forget to drop a like, drop a subscription if you feeling what we doing over here. Everybody over here on Twitch as well. Ball Rat is in the building. I see y'all. Can't get the full list. Something's going on my end where I can't see the full chat. I can only see what's coming up on my screen. So bear with me if you chatting and I don't catch it. Bear with me. But shout out to everybody in the stream, man. You know I love y'all. We love y'all. Every single one of y'all. We appreciate y'all coming. We got some new subscribers too. While we was out, I'm looking at the list. A couple of guys dropped some bits. A couple of guys are supporting the channel. We appreciate every single one of you. We love you. We do this for y'all. Like literally, we do this shit for y'all. Because to reiterate, if it wasn't for y'all, me and Uncle just be chopping it up over the phone, talking about this and that and the other. But we decided to sit this shit right in front of y'all faces and try to do our best to entertain y'all with our perspectives on the game. So we
That's what we
appreciate every
do.
single one of y'all in here. But
hmm
to kick the show off, I want to give kudos where kudos is due.
hmm
I've always been on record stating the most underrated aspect of sports entertainment is coaching. The most underrated aspect of all sports is coaching, right? I was having a conversation with my man Mike Beasley, and he mentioned to me, he said, man, you always talking about this one NFL coach, Sean Payton. And he mentioned to me the type of season that Sean Payton is having. And I'm like, you know what? You right. And there needs some light shed on it. Sean Payton this season has gone through the worst situation any head coach could possibly go through, right? And nobody is talking about it. To me, Sean Payton is the second greatest coach in the league right now, next to Bill Belichick. All due respect to everybody else, the Mike Tomlins of the world, even the Pete Carrolls. I got respect for Pete Carroll.
Andy Reid.
Andy Reid's of the
Wow.
world. I believe Sean
Okay.
Payton is the second best coach in the league. Nearly his entire roster was injured this year. Over 50 plus players on the New Orleans Saints were hurt. He never had a game in which he had the same players play on 2 consecutive nights. That's offense, defense, and special teams. In fact, only 2 players played all 17 games which is
Of
rare
the whole roster? Whoa.
on the
Of the whole
roster.
Wow.
Only 2 players played all 17 games. It's rare for a lot of teams to have multiple guys playing all 17, but at least you have your core for majority of the season, right? Mm-hmm. Think about it. This man had no superstars, no stars, no Pro Bowlers for the entire duration of the season. And this is a team that's supposed to be star. I'm talking about offensive special teams. Of course, you had the inconsistencies with health, but you got Marshawn Lattimore. You got, the guy coming off the end. What's his name? Cameron.
Jordan.
Yeah, Cam Jordan.
Mm-hmm.
You got some guys, right? Mm-hmm. But all of these guys have been inconsistent when it came to health this season. Michael Thomas was supposed to come back this year. He's got his gripes with the team. That's your superstar. Arguably a top 5 wide receiver in the league, right? Alvin Kamara was even out with injuries. They had to go back and make a trade for Mark Ingram just to have a running back. Then you talking about a head coach that had to switch up his play calling, switch up his game plan week in and week out to be conducive to the talent that he has available. Not even the talent that he has at his disposal, the talent he has available. I've never seen a head coach have to have 4 different starting quarterbacks. 4. He had Ian Book, Trevor Lawrence, Jameis Winston, and Taysom Hill. 4 starting quarterbacks this season.
Trevor Siemian, yeah. Mm-hmm.
No, like I say, no AK, no MT. Those are his superstars. They are gone. No help at the tight end position. No help at the wide receiver position, X, Y, or Z. No help at the offensive line. Interchanging offensive line pieces week in and week out, not knowing who's going to be healthy. Plus with the protocols that's going on. Like I mentioned, the 4 different quarterbacks. That's impressive. And still, even though they didn't make the playoffs, still had a 9-8 record, which is a positive record. It's teams that have had way better situations than Sean Payton was put in this year that didn't finish with a positive record. It's teams that could say, we had all our starters on offense this year, all 17 games. It's teams that could say that. But it's teams that can't say we had all 17 of our starters and still finish with a 9-8 record, positive record, even though they missed the playoffs, right? Second in the division. I came into the season with they guys finishing 3rd or 4th in the division. For them to pull out second place in this situation with these circumstances, it's 100%. 100% Sean Payton. So all I want to do is give a special exclusive shout out to Sean Payton. You are the shit, and you are one of the greatest coaches of all time. Give credit where credit is due. Once again, coaching is the most underrated aspect of sports. To me, it's extremely important, and coaches don't get enough respect that they deserve. What you think about Payton this year?
Well, let's rewind the clock a little bit, because he got jerked in the NFC Championship game in 2018, right? They should have been in the bowl game that year.
No doubt.
And then they should have been in the NFC Championship game against your boys. I don't know if they would have beat y'all in 18. I don't know if they would have beat Philadelphia, but they lost to Minnesota on a fluke.
Yep.
And I can't say, as much as you've just said about Payton, I can't say enough about what he's done offensively. But if you can be at the cusp of making the playoffs with Taysom Hill at the helm, there's not much else that needs to be said about this guy. So Mike Thomas, for all intents and purposes, he's an elite wide receiver. Say whatever you want about him. He's an elite wide receiver. Absolutely. Alvin Kamara, when he's healthy, he's one of the best backs in the game. These guys were out of the lineup, in and out the lineup. He had Mike Thomas he didn't have Mike Thomas at all this entire season. None. And on top of that, his quarterback is gone for the season. Half of the year, he's gone, tore up his knee. Payton and Sean Payton still has these guys. They one game away. If my Niners lose, the Saints are in.
Yeah.
If my Niners lose, the Saints are in. Mm-hmm. We're talking about a team that plays in the same division with the Super Bowl champ. and I think they beat them twice.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you can say whatever you want about a lot of coaches, but what the job that Sean Payton did this year, there's no way that any coach can justify not accepting him as doing the best job this season.
Yeah.
And I love Mike Vrabel. I think Mike Vrabel might be the coach of the year. But what Sean Payton did, absolutely.
Yeah, shout out to Mike Vrabel too, Tennessee, man. They pulled some shit together, man. Like, man, all the shit that they've been through as well. Tennessee put it together. But at least you could say they had their quarterback. Sean Payton can't even say that. Like, not only did he have 4 different starting quarterbacks, he also lost the all-time great top 5 quarterback of all time, and Drew Brees, the previous season.
How about that?
So you got to put that into perspective too. And to come out after losing Alvin Kamara, who's an all-pro running back, top 5 running back in his league, Michael Thomas, who's an all-pro wide receiver, top 5 wide receiver in this league, Drew Brees, who's a top 5 quarterback of all time, and still have a winning record? Shout out to Sean Payton, man. He's a
shout out to Sean Payton. Absolutely.
Facts. But like I mentioned in the intro earlier, we had a lot of coaching fires. We had a few. I ain't gonna say a lot. We had a few, right? Few coaching fires. About an eighth of the league. You know, let some guys go. Well deservingly so, right? I'm gonna run through the list of guys that got let go. Joe Judge was the latest one that got let go. I was surprised at the Giants for not firing Joe Judge with everybody else getting fired. Joe Judge got fired today, like 12 hours ago. Everybody else got fired the minute after the season cleared. Like Monday morning, mofos was in the words of my man Guru Griff, filling out Chuck E. Cheese applications on God.
They had a pink slip. You had a pink slip in your mailbox.
So they did. That's just what it was. So we got Joe Judge, we got Brian Flores, we got Vic Fangio, we got Matt Nagy, and we got Mike Zimmer. All got fired. Now, I want to know which one, if any, was a surprise to you, because I'm pretty sure one of these guys in particular, people had some uproar about that should not have gotten fired, in Brian Flores. But if there's anything that you think was a surprise when it came to any one of these firings, what could that be, in your opinion?
Well, I was trying to figure out what Minnesota was doing because, I mean, as bad as Minnesota was, I don't think that it was coaching that killed them. I mean, they got a quarterback issue, and I think Kirk Cousins comes off the books after this year. Dalvin Cook stayed in and out of the lineup. He stayed beat up, and I don't think that had a lot to do with Mike Zimmer. I think Mike Zimmer did a good job, as well a job as he could do with that offense and with that defense. So I was surprised that they let him go. So whenever I think about a coach getting fired, I immediately think which direction, because if I'm replacing you, I got to already have something in place if I'm replacing you. So which direction are we going? So when I hear that the Miami Dolphins are moving on from Brian Flores, does that mean that they're basically pushing all their chips to the front of the table and they calling up Michigan and going, we getting Jim Harbaugh down here?
Some.
That it has to be that, because I'm looking at a guy in Brian Flores, 13-8 with Tua as a starter, 9-11 with Fitzpatrick. And Fitzpatrick has basically been in and out of every lineup. He's a journeyman, absolutely that. So he lost his best starting offensive lineman, and still managed over the last 3 years with that defense to have a 500 record. He just got the job 3 years ago, right? Literally just got the job. Now, they go 9-8 after starting 1-7. They win 8 of their next 9 games. Now, they only beat one playoff team, but this is still the NFL.
Right?
This is still the NFL. And I would have liked to have seen them give Flores more of a chance. And the reason why I say that is because I'm looking at the landscape of guys who look like us. I'm keeping it 100 with you now. This is what we're talking about. Guys who look like us. Lovie Smith, 10 wins. He gets fired in Tampa. Lovie Smith, 2 years after taking Chicago to the bowl game, he gets fired. Coach Caldwell in Detroit, 9 wins. He gets fired. And now we have Flores.
Detroit hasn't had a winning season since Caldwell.
That was it. That was the last one, and I think that was in 16. No, not 16. Yeah, that was at least 6 years ago. So with that being said, Brian Flores, who he has these guys they were in the hunt to make the playoffs, and they had a winning record. But now we going in a different direction, which has me thinking, who is in line for this job. Because if you firing this dude, you have to have something better. You have to.
It's just
it
just doesn't make it. It doesn't make any sense to me, Unc. Like Flores is only one game under 500. Granted, being put in a position where the team was horrible, terrible, right? They draft who they think was their guy to a tug of our hip replacement. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Then they go on a 7-game. They go on a 7-game win streak this year to finish the season 9-8, which is positive. Like, you're firing a head coach who's getting better and better each season. He needs time. Inconsistency at the quarterback play should not warrant the firing of your head coach. And when I say inconsistency, I'm not talking about as far as play calling, decision making, things that impact the field from the sideline, right? Because from where I'm sitting, Flores coming up under Bill Belichick, he knows a thing or two, especially on the defensive side of the ball. That's his specialty, right? The coming into this season, the strong suit of the Miami Dolphins was their defense. Everybody was talking about how their defense was flying around towards the end of the season and how they should come in a way better unit this year, right? Tua Tagovailoa, inconsistencies at the wide receiver position, offensive line. You have to give credit where credit is due. And for him to still come out with a positive record, 7-game winning streak through this span, I mean, I don't understand. Like, Joe Judge, I expected it. I understand. He's garbage. 2 seasons, man goes 3-14 this year, 10-23 total. Garbage.
Now, when you look at that Giants unit, I watched them play a couple of times. That Giants unit was completely undisciplined. They looked like they didn't have a pro at all on that unit. They didn't have a leader.
And that goes to the head coach, what you're saying. So
right.
I understand.
Absolutely. So when I look at what Brian Flores was doing, they had a number of different front office issues too. Like I said, they whiffed on Justin Herbert. They passed on him and went with Tua. And that's a big deal. And I think that Flores was the one who wanted Herbert instead of Tua. But they passed on him. They lost their offensive lineman. Their best offensive lineman was a Pro Bowler at the time. So there was a number of different factors in there that went toward them having the season that they had. And he still managed to get them to above 500. Yeah. So I don't appreciate how he's treated. Now, I will tell you this. They're going to be lined up for Brian Flores because he can coach.
They're going to be lined up already about 3-4 teams interested. The Bears was setting up a interview with him. I think the Giants was setting up an interview. So it's a couple of teams already ready to pull the trigger on Flores now because they know he's a diamond in the rough. And Miami just made a colossal mistake. The Bears cleaned house. They fired Matt Nagy, went from being the coach of the year to Gabricio.
Trash.
6-11. Completely discombobulated, lost the locker room, couldn't choose which way to go or the right way to choose which way to go when it came to the quarterback position. Andy Dalton, some people even blame him for mishandling Mitch Trubisky because a lot of people say really wasn't Mitch's fault. It was the play caller. This is a guy that came up under Andy Reid, supposed to be an elite play caller on the offensive side of the ball, right? He came up under Andy Reid in the Alex Smith era. Their offense was solid. But tell me why Eric Bieniemy ain't got a job, and he's in the Patrick Mahomes era, Super Bowl champion. Why does Eric Bieniemy not have a job, but Matt Nagy does? I don't understand that for the life of me. Could it be because he looks like me?
That's not ridiculous, man. It's not ridiculous. Now, the question that I want to know from you, being from Chicago, should Justin Fields, should he have been the guy from day one?
I think this is me, and a lot of people call me stupid for this. A lot of people say you wrong, ooh, this and that, right? I feel like if you're going to draft a guy in the first round and you don't have a security blanket for that guy, right? If you want to groom him or you don't feel like he's ready, that's one thing. But if you in a rebuild mode, see, 49ers still playoff contenders. They got a great defense, and Jimmy Garoppolo ain't a scrub. He's solid. See, Andy Dalton is a scrub. He's Gabricio, right? And plus, the Bears are in rebuild mode, kind of, sort of. They in in between, that harsh in between to where they kind of rebuilding, but it's kind of like, let's see where this goes. I think Justin Fields should have came out the gate. There's nothing like going through your growing pains initially. So that way when the team does develop, when the team does get better, y'all did it together as a unit to where when y'all finally sitting at 11-5 or 11-6, whatever it is now with the extra game, you say, man, remember when we was ass back in 2021? Now it's 2026 and we in the NFC Championship game. We grew together instead of coming into a situation that's already ready. And I think Matt Nagy mishandled that. Not only did he mishandle that, when Justin Fields finally got into the game, thrusted into the game due to an Andy Dalton injury, he mishandled the play calling during that game and the week after. Like, you didn't have the entire offseason after drafting this kid to come up with some ways to utilize him, and you supposed to be the offensive-minded guru?
They just didn't really seem like they knew what they were doing with
It seemed
Justin
sabotage-y. That's what it seemed like.
They just didn't seem like they knew exactly what it was they were doing. Do you want to sit them and develop them and let them sit behind Andy Dalton? Do you want to put them out there right from the beginning? And if you're going to put them out there right from the beginning, how are we going to handle them? They just didn't seem to have a grasp on what exactly it was they were doing with this guy right from the beginning.
They don't have an identity either. I think that's the biggest thing. Do they run the football? Are we defense and run the ball? Like, are we going to utilize Justin Fields in the running game like how Philly utilizes Jalen Hurts in the running game? You know, the Bears don't have an identity. So it's like, I don't know where to go from there. I'm glad they clean house. Pace is out.
Nagy's out.
So now you get to start over, start fresh. And things like this can happen. Success can happen overnight if you get somebody competent in that front office. Look at the Chicago Bulls. Soon as we let Gar Forman and John Paxson go, and we get this new general manager who happens to look like me, we get DeMar DeRozan. Boom. We get Lonzo Ball. Boom. Chicago Bulls have built this dynasty from the 90s, built the entire franchise and the history, the cornerstone, off of building through the draft, because free agents really don't like coming to us. This is not a hot free agent destination, even though it's a great city, tourist city, third largest city in America. We never
understood that.
We never, maybe the weather. We don't get a lot of free agents. We never been a big free agent destination. So the Bulls traditionally like to, build the team through the draft. We drafted everybody that's in the Hall of Fame for us. We drafted them. Any all-time great, we drafted them, right? So with that being said, Gar Forman and John Paxson tried to repeat that rhythm. They tried to repeat that. And we was ass for 15 years because of it. Soon as this new cat come in here, I'm finna shake some shit up. Boom, make a move for Lonzo. Boom, make a move for Nikola Vucevic. Boom, make a move for DeMar DeRozan. Boom, make the move. Gar Forman brought in Zach LaVine.
Wait a minute, though, Beast. Whoa. Because I'm looking at the unit that you had. So you got Derrick Rose in the draft. You got Kim Noah in the draft. You got Jimmy Buckets in the draft. You were actually building that. What the problem was we didn't know that Derrick Rose was going to turn out to be who he was in terms of injuries, because you were doing it like you had done it the traditional way.
True.
Derrick Rose getting hurt, that did throw a monkey wrench in what you guys were doing, because you were on your way to going back. Now, a lot of people, and we kind of getting off the subject here, but this is really quick. A lot of people don't understand exactly what goes into winning an NBA championship. And what I mean when I say that is, you need some, in addition to being talented and in addition to having cohesion, you need some things to go your way.
True.
You guys know how I feel about LeBron James. Let's be clear, guys. Derrick Rose tearing up his knee, that was not a bad thing for LeBron James.
At all.
Paul George breaking his leg, that was not a bad thing for LeBron James.
He was sunning him anyway. But to be honest with you, Unc, I swear to God, if LeBron had not took his ass to Cleveland, 2011, Dirk would not have that. We would have that. If Bron stayed his ass in Cleveland with Antoine Jameson and Shaq and all them scrubs he had over there in Cleveland, we would have Bulls in 4.
Y'all beat Dallas?
And we would have beat the shit out of Dallas. Rose wasn't going for that 2-3 zone shit. We would have beat the shit out of Dallas. I'm telling you, Bulls in 4. That would have. I will never. I will die. I will die. I'm taking this to my grave. I honestly believe that. But LeBron took his ass to Miami right when we hit our peak. And it's like that screwed everything up because now he got this super team. We not finna beat these boys. I don't know. Thinking about that shit make my head hurt. But we grew organically through the draft, a majority of it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I feel like when it comes to these NFL teams, a lot of these guys don't take that approach. Everybody's trying to win and win now. Look what happened with the Bucks. You know, you get Tom Brady, all of a sudden everybody want to come. Here come Gronk. Here come all these other guys. You know what I'm saying? So when it comes, when success can happen overnight, like I just mentioned, the Bucks, they go from Jameis Winston and hoping to make the playoffs to Super Bowl contenders by adding Tom Brady. Once he comes, then a lot of guys come. So this can happen instantly. Like I mentioned, the Bulls. As soon as we get rid of those general managers, boom, boom, boom. Now we playoff contention, number one in the East. Haven't been that since God knows how long. You know what I'm saying? So success can happen quickly. So if the Bears get some competent guys in that front office with a competent head coach, I can see success happening quick. If you get a Greg Roman type of guy that can put Justin Fields in a position to utilize his strengths as of, you know, just making him a prototypical pocket passer, which is I don't understand that for the life of me. But Zimmer, whatever, it is what it is. He was there for a long time, 8 years, only went to the playoffs 3 times. Should he have gotten fired? Maybe not. This is one of those firings where I feel like the Vikings was just like, hey, we need a new face. It's time to shake some shit up. Let's get a new guy in here and see how this goes, right? Matt Nagy, he deserved it. Fangio, garbage, get him out of there. 7-10 record, below 500, 14 and 30 over the last 3 seasons. Get him out of here. Brian Flores, I'm lost and confused. Joe Judge, he should have never even got the job. Special team, straight to head coach. Like, bro, you can't show me that you can at least coach offense or defense? Like, you just killing shit on special teams.
I got a problem with that. I got a problem with that, too. I absolutely got a problem with that.
Like, it's all these qualified offensive and defensive coordinators out here, and you hire a special teams coach?
Yeah, Byron Leftwich ain't head coach material.
Right.
Eric Bieniemy ain't head coach material. So come on, man.
That just blows my mind, man. I don't understand what the NFL does. Sometimes the Rooney Rule is just put in place now, and they just going through the motions. Okay, let's get a black guy in here, interview him, but we already know we about to hire such and such. I don't know, man. The NFL needs to do something about that because this is beyond me. There's no reason, absolutely no reason Eric Bieniemy should not have a job right now. But
Or Byron Leftwich.
Yeah, Leftwich too. Leftwich as well. That's why I like Bruce Arians. His whole staff was black. I mean, like, he trying to give a brother a chance, man. Real talk.
Yes.
Shout out to Bruce Arians, man. Like, but anyway, let's move on to some of these predictions. We got some great playoff games this weekend. I cannot wait. I've been waiting for the playoffs ever since fantasy ended. I won like 2 games in fantasy. I was completely ass, but that's neither here nor there. Let's skip that subject. I'm going to name some teams out, and I want you to give your prediction. Then I'll do my rundown on my prediction and score after you do your whole rundown. So we got Raiders at the Bengals. Who you got now?
I don't think that anybody has had a tougher season, with the exception of the Saints. But in the playoffs, I don't think anybody has had to go through more adversity than what the Raiders have had. We've had Waller in and out the lineup. Josh Jacobs, who I thought was a top 5 back coming into the season, been up and down. And these boys have made themselves viable, and they've gotten into the playoffs. But I was popping that Cincinnati talk from the door, and I'm sticking with it because I love Joe Burrow. I love Jamar Chase, and I am more and more. I'm developing a man crush. You already got a man crush on him.
I had it for a long time.
I'm developing even more of a man crush on him. That defense is solid. The Cincinnati Bengals, they 5th in the league in defensive rushing and rush defense. So I think that they and not only that, the Raiders coming in banged up. You know, Waller's coming in. He's going to be questionable. Josh Jacobs is going to be questionable. Now I think they're going to play, but I think Cincinnati handles them absolutely.
No doubt about it. I like the fight that the Raiders showed in that game against LA Chargers last game to determine who's going to make the playoffs. I like the fight. That was a great game. One of the best games I've seen in a while. But I'm with you on this one. Give me the Bengals in a close one. It's just going to be – Bengals been so hot. Like, this is probably the best young offense I've seen since the greatest show on turf. And, you know, it's like these guys got it all clicking with T. Higgins, Joe Mixon, Joe Burrow. You got my man Jamar Chase. If you know me, y'all know my man Jamar Chase. Yeah. it's been lights out.
Whoa, Chris, hold on. Because when I listen to you talk like that, you sound like the Lakers from the 2000s. Are you telling me that these dudes, barring any injury, you think they're gonna be around for a while?
I think they're gonna be around for a long time. All four guys under 25 years of age, especially the quarterback. So you need to capitalize. Let's just say this, right? Their defense is solid. They got pass catchers. They got a solid tight end. They got
love him.
They got a potential MVP candidate in Joe Burrow. They got Joe Mixon, who's 25 years of age. Literally, all you got to do is focus on your offensive line. If you can find a way to build this offensive line within the next year or two, this team could be very, very, very scary. Very scary. I'm talking Super Bowl scary. And all it takes is for you to win 3 games, and you there. So give me the Bengals 21-24 in a close game, great game. They win by a field goal because I don't see the Raiders backing down. They're not going to fold up. With all the shit that they've been through this year, they are a tough, resilient team. They will not fold, but I got the Bengals coming out on top. Next game, we got Pats versus the Bills. Who you got in this one?
I didn't appreciate how Buffalo handled them the last time, and Mac Jones showed being a rookie. I mean, Josh Allen was solid that day. 3 touchdowns, no turnovers, which is the difference with him. When he ain't turning the ball over, he's one of the best in the game. Yeah. When he's standing in the pocket, when he's scrambling around like he does, I think he gets himself in trouble when he tries to do too much. Yeah. But that offense that they have with Diggs, I think that they handle New England this weekend.
Think
Absolutely.
So?
I think they handle New England this weekend. I don't see New England shoving the ball down their throat like they did the first time that they saw them. I think they handle them again.
Honestly, to be honest with you, I think you're wrong about that one. I think they do shove it down their throat simply because simply because this game is obviously in Buffalo, right? Buffalo's got home field advantage. What month is this? This is January. What travels with you? Defense. What is the Patriots' strong suit? Defense. And they also know how to run that ball. With that rookie that they got, with my man Damian Harris from Alabama, they got some guys that can run that ball, and they like to run it. And it's going to be 10 degrees on Saturday in Buffalo. It's going to be cold. Pass catchers don't like to catch the ball in the cold, dog. And what is the worst element to the Buffalo Bills game? Running the football. They have no running game. And what's the number one thing you want to do when it's cold as hell outside? Run the football. Because guess what? When you pound that rock, guys get the second guessing if they want to tackle you. It's cold. My bones is hurting. You ever accidentally hit your hand on something when it's cold as hell outside?
Way more. It hurts way more.
It hurts way more when you snap that finger against something. You walk past and you nick your finger on something. Imagine trying to wrap up a 225-pound back in Damian Harris when he's constantly pounding you all night. Pause.
Josh Allen is their leading rusher. Quite honest with you,
for the second year in a row. I told you that was going to happen before the season.
I don't know how good that is, but
it's bad.
I think that they take advantage of New England in their air attack, and I think that they do it in dink and dunk. We ain't going deep down the field. I think that we getting 5-yard. I think we getting 7-yard hooks, and I think Josh Allen is going to make some things happen with his feet in the run game. Not all afternoon, but for the most part of the run game, it's going to be Josh Allen. Absolutely. That's why I think that they handled him.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a low-scoring game, gritty, nasty game, 10-7. You know, I see a lot of defense being played in this one. I think Bill Belichick is going to have a number and come very, very prepared. Next game we got. We got the Eagles versus the Bucks.
I so want to talk about this. Let's get on these Eagles.
We got the Eagles versus the Bucks.
Let's get on these Eagles.
Who you got?
Cause my nephew Chris over here, right? Let me make sure I get it right. Before the season started, we gonna be Gabricio. He had them trash, okay? You hear my boy, I'm choking my boy out right now because he had them as straight trash this year, right? So now they drawn in the first round. They got the defending Super Bowl champs who coming in beat up, right? Mike Evans isn't exactly 100%. I mean, this is the playoffs, and I understand that everybody's beat up. Mike Evans is coming in beat up. He ain't 100%. Godwin is out for the season. That means that Jones is going to have to run the football because I don't know what I'm going to get out of Leonard Fournette. So Ronald Jones is going to be toting that rock like he is. The problem that we having is 12 is still back there. That's the difference right there. 12 is still back there. And as long as 12 is upright and he looked like it's 2007, I can't put my money on nobody else. I can't.
Cox, Barnett, all these boys finna be barking and howling because we gonna come flying. The Eagles gonna be flying all over the place. Listen.
Bird gang.
Listen, I'm gonna tell you like this right here, right? I did say the Eagles is gonna be trash. I said we would finish third in the division. I think I had us getting like 6 wins tops, but we got 9. We got 3 more than what I expected us to get, which was enough to get us into the wild card, right? The defense has been playing better than expected. The running game has been a bit inconsistent, but by the numbers, successful. Because I'm looking at it like, man, Miles Sanders has been banged up, but Scott has been productive. Jordan Howard has been productive. Guys have been coming in, playing their roles, and they have been productive. Most of that's coming off the back of Jalen Hurts, who has 10 rushing touchdowns this year, almost 1,000 yards, 140 carries for Jalen Hurts. So he's pretty much carrying the running game for us, which provides us an element that I think is underrated coming into this matchup. Now you got to focus. They have a great defensive line. Now these guys can't just send all 4 and just try to get to the quarterback. No. We like to run a lot of play action. We like to run a lot of RPO. So now you have to worry about Jalen not only as a passer but as a runner. On top of your secondary being Gabricio over the past 4 to 6 weeks. Very, very, very pass exposable, right? And Jalen Hurts could let it rip. So we could get you thinking about this RPO, and then we going over the top Devontae Smith for 6. I'm telling you, we going to shock the world. Eagles will beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, but it's going to be a lot. It's going to be a lot of offense.
It is, and what I'd like to see is I would like to see Devontae Smith featured more in that O.
Yeah.
I'd like to see him. I like to see them because I've said this to you from the beginning. He remind me of Marvin Harrison. That's who he looked like to me. And if you would involve him more, that offense opens up so more when this dude is getting when he's involved. So if we could see Devontae get 10 to 12 targets, 7-8 catches for 80, 90 yards, you absolutely in that game.
I'm telling you.
Having a hard time.
I understand. I love 12. But this the best. If we gonna get him, they limping right now, Unc. This the best time. They limping right now.
Yeah, they are.
Gronk, how you feeling? You had a $137 last time I seen you. Can you handle yourself? That's all. Mike Evans, are you sick? What's going on? Are you cool? Chris Godwin, where are you at? We are looking for you.
Done.
Secondary, garbage. Expose.com. I'm telling you. My Eagles got a shot.
No Richard Sherman this weekend either.
Listen, I hope Carlton Davis is sticking Devontae Smith. Real talk. Is he playing? Because if he ain't playing, it's definitely about to pop off. I'm telling you. Eagles in 4 on baby. 31-33. It's going to be a tight one. Clench your ass cheeks. Because it's going to be a tight one. Next game, we got Yo Niners versus the Dallas Cowboys.
Can I keep it all the way 100 with you?
Who you got?
Of all the teams that the Cowboys do not want to see in AT&T Stadium, they do not want to see us in there. They don't want to see us. Of all the teams that they don't want to see, they don't want to see us. Now, I can appreciate what the Cowboys have been doing offensively. They scored 51 against your boys last week, right? And that was against the second. Yeah. I ain't tripping.
I'm starting to develop hatred for the Cowboys. Dak Prescott played the whole damn game.
Yeah, that was corny.
Against me and you was out there playing cornerback.
Don't let that fool you, because
they just wanted to beat our ass. That's all. They just wanted to get that game on record.
That was super corny. I can appreciate what they've been doing offensively, right? Because they're trying to stay sharp. But at the end of the day, and as much as I dig them, I know you, Dakota. I know who you are. And I know how you get down. And I know that Kellen Moore is going to put that ball in your hands. And he's going to make you throw the ball 40, 45 times. He's not going to give the ball to Zeke. They're not going to get a ball to Tony Pollard. And that defense is going to be on the field a lot. And the reason why that defense is going to be on the field a lot, because we're going to have a lot of 3-and-outs.
Mm-hmm.
And if you've seen what my boys do, one of the things that we do very well is we're going to shove this ball down your throat and you ain't going to do a damn thing about it.
Yep.
You ain't going to do nothing about it. Now, I can appreciate Micah Parsons coming off the edge. He might be one of the best edge rushers in the game, no doubt about it. You already know how I feel about Trayvon Diggs, but I think we're going after these boys.
Yeah, no
and
doubt.
we shut AT&T Stadium down this weekend. Absolutely, we do.
No doubt about
Turn the
it.
lights out. Turn the lights out.
That's dope. That's very cute. That's very cute. That's very cute. I'm an Eagles fan, but I'm telling you, the Cowboys about to beat this shit out of y'all. 17-36.
Oh,
17-36. 17-36. And I'm gonna tell you just like this here. I think Trayvon Diggs gets a pick 6 to seal the game. I can smell it. That's how it's going to go. Jimmy Garoppolo trying to come back into the game. It's going to be Jimmy Garoppolo. No. He's finna throw a pick 6 to seal the game up. 17-36 is my final score. Dallas Cowboys, bad it hurts me to say. I think they mopped the floor with you guys. No joke.
We absolutely going to see about that. No doubt about that. You seen this, America? You hear this, America? You hear this world? My boy got the Cowboys serving us. So when I see him, not this Friday, but when I see him next Tuesday, and my boy's moving on to the divisional round, we gonna talk. Yeah. We gonna talk.
Definitely,
no doubt.
But next game we got Steelers versus Kansas City at Kansas City. What you got?
Well, I'll tell you what, Beast. Whenever I see Ben Roethlisberger, he just remind me of Mr. Potato Head. Well, what you mean when you say Mr. Potato Head? Like his arm fell off and he putting his arm back on and his nose fell. And they just piecing them back together every time just to keep him upright out there. Because whenever I see this dude, man, he just looks like a shell of himself.
Yeah.
Three-step drop, that ball is not nearly as crisp. 5-step drop, he looked like he barely standing in the pocket. And when he's trying to deliver the football. And the downside is that offense is really good with Najee Harris. That offense is really, and that defense is really good too. Because I look at Pittsburgh and I think that they are Russell Wilson, Deshaun Foster away from being right back at the top of the AFC. And I think that them getting into the playoffs, I think it's going to be a detriment to Ben because, to be honest with you, I think Ben quietly is like, man, I'm kind of ready for this to be over.
I'm ready to go home, right?
I'm ready. I'm kind of ready for this to be over because I just don't have what I used to have anymore. Yeah. So I think the Chiefs handled them this weekend. I don't think they blow Pittsburgh out, but I absolutely think they handled them.
Yeah, Ben is a guy with a lot of pride, man, and he can. And at first, it was foolish pride because he couldn't really see. He was kind of naive and oblivious to what was going on. You know, he couldn't really tell. I don't know. Do I have it? Do I not have it? Like, bro, now he's coming to. It's hitting him. You know, the last home game, you seen him get real emotional. He realizes that he ain't got it no more. You know what I'm saying? Yep. And this thing is coming to an end. But I got KC beating them. I honestly had it in a low-scoring game. But I think because KC has been finding different ways to beat you. And that defense that the Steelers got is no joke. T.J. Watt will be all over Patrick Mahomes like a cheap suit in this one. Man had 21 and a half sacks this year. Almost broke the record, right? Michael Strahan got a side-by-side buddy now. Finally, somebody could tie that record. But I think it's going to be low scoring. 14-17 is my final score. 3-point game. Patrick Mahomes somehow finds a way to pull it out on the last second drive. I think Big Ben gets a touchdown. Najee gets a touchdown. So, you know, we'll see what happens with that game, but I think it's going to be low scoring. Normally, I would say Chiefs by 30. Chiefs going to put up at least 28 to 30 points, but not on this defense. I got a lot of respect for this defense over there in Pittsburgh. Next game, last game of the Super Wildcard weekend, we got the Cards versus the Rams. Which way you going with this one?
Well, I want to start the conversation by just so you know, Arizona hasn't beaten the Rams in 5 years. They beat them one time. In the last 5 years. They own these dudes. Just like my 49ers own the Rams own the Cardinals. Own these dudes. They've beaten them once in the last 5 seasons. And Kyler Murray being healthy, now the way they handled them in Los Angeles in week 1, I think that's going to be completely different. I'm looking at Aaron Donald and I'm looking at Von Miller and that pass rush. I think that they're going to be way more viable this weekend than they were. Now, the problem that I'm having is Matthew Stafford. And the reason why I'm having a problem with Matthew Stafford is because the same reason why I'm having a problem with Kirk Cousins. When the lights get brighter,
That's true.
my man shrinks.
They get
And
smaller.
I don't. That very much concerns me because when you look at that offense, they got arguably the best wide receiver in the game in Cooper Kupp. Using OBJ more absolutely helps them.
Mm-hmm.
So how do we get this team to get offense going? Matt Stafford helps himself out tremendously when he stays underneath. Staying underneath opens up the long ball for him. When you ask him to do more early, like throwing the long ball, that's how he gets himself in trouble. And that's when he gets them in trouble. I don't think he does that. I think they go underneath early, and I think they run the football early, and I think that opens up their offense, and I think they blow Arizona out.
Ooh.
I don't think they beat Arizona. I think they stomp them.
Hey, it is what it is with that one. No D-Hop in this one. That kind of worries me. AJ Green has been playing solid as of late. Andy Isabella was supposed to be a guy that stays speed demon for him. He needs to step up and actually get some time and play this game, right? They need all the help they can get at the wide receiver position. One of their running backs is down. I can't remember if it was Connor or Chase Edmonds. I believe Edmonds is out. So Connor's got to carry the load. But the Rams, man, the Rams is hot. You know, and although you say what you say about Matthew Stafford, I think the Rams are going to do something special this season. With Cam Akers practiced, so I think he's coming back. That's just listen to how that sounds. Cam Akers just popped his Achilles like 6 months ago, and he's
training camp started,
and he's practicing. Like
he running.
It's crazy. So he might play. I'm unsure about Darrell Henderson, but they still got Sony Michel. You know, a lot can go on within a matter of a few days. But I'm not going to say the Rams going to blow them out. I do got the Rams winning this one, but I'm not saying they're going to blow these boys out. Now, I think Arizona got a lot of firepower, and I got respect for Kyler Murray, who is a top 10 quarterback in this league. I'm pretty sure you agree with me now, unlike you did before the season started, right?
That ain't true. I said Kyler Murray was a dark horse league MVP. Did I not say that before the season started? But you didn't have him
as a top 10 quarterback in this league. You had Matt Ryan in.
I did have Matt Ryan in, and I was wrong about that. But I did say that watch out for Kyler Murray because I do think that he's a top. I think he's a dark horse league MVP. Yeah. And for a while, that was the case. Mm-hmm. For a while, that was the case.
But you're not alone in that, though. It was a lot of people that did not believe Kyler Murray was a top 10 quarterback in this league. A lot of people, and I was surprised at that. I'm like, it's so many guys on TikTok saying, "Oh, Kyler Murray ain't top 10. Oh, gee, why you got him in your top 10?" I said, "Okay." I hit him with the Jamie Foxx, and soon you will see what I mean. What I mean. So get comfortable. He about to do something you never seen before. Kyler Murray is a dog. Shout out to Kyler Murray, man, but they're going to fall to the Rams, man. It's unfortunate. You got to see who you got to see. And I think the Rams, in the words of my man Serge Ibaka, the Rams are just hot, baby. You know, I don't think it's nothing. I don't think it's nothing they can do about it. Just straight like that. You know what I'm saying?
Now, what I don't want to disregard what the Cards do offensively, right? They ain't have nothing to play for last weekend against Seattle. They didn't have anything to play for. The Rams had already had the division locked up, so they didn't have anything to play for. So when I'm looking at Arizona coming into this game offensively, you know, adding Hurts, I'm a big fan of Hurts, right? I'm a big fan of Hurts. I know that losing him in Philadelphia, he had to go. I understand that, but he implemented in their offense heavy, and I like what they're doing with him. Absolutely. In fact, he takes a lot of pressure off Murray, considering D Hop is not going to be there. So I think he's going to go to him even more than he has in the past, and that's going to help them. AJ Green is going to step up this weekend. I think that he's going to help them out. Now, Connor, on the other hand, I look at this Rams front line, and good luck trying to run against them with Connor. Man. And I love Connor, but good luck trying to run the football against them. And if you think you're going to shove the football down their throat, good luck with that. Now, only running that they're going to have is Kyler Murray scrambling. I think that their run game gets shut down, no question about that. But I do think that Arizona's going to put up a fight early. I think that the Rams straight smash these dudes this weekend.
Yeah, well, We're gonna see, man. It's gonna be very, very interesting. But I got the Rams in this one as well. I can't disagree with you on that. I'm right with you on that. But let's segue to a little basketball. There's been a specific player that I don't think has been getting the recognition that he deserves. I'm all about giving credit when credit is due. When somebody is balling out and not getting that recognition that they deserve, you could damn sure well believe, oh, OG the Beast gonna talk about you. If ain't nobody else talking about you, I'm going to talk about you. That guy's Joel Embiid. Segue to some basketball for a second. Joel Embiid is having a fantastic season. He's in a situation where he's got these Philadelphia 76ers, what? How many games above 500? What are they at in the standings right now, Unc? I'm unsure.
They in fifth in the East, and they 2.5 games out the 2 spot.
Look at that.
Two and a half
games back. Fifth in the Eastern Conference. Meanwhile, Boston is struggling 2 games below 500 with 2 stars, right? Because I would consider everybody on the Boston Celtics, the 3 best players the Boston Celtics got is probably better than the second option on the 76ers. That's for damn sure. Even though Tobias Harris is having a solid season, averaging 18 and 6, 18 and 7. Tobias Harris is a dog, but let's be honest. He ain't no Jaylen Brown. He ain't no Jason Tatum. That's for damn sure. Joel Embiid is putting on the show, averaging 30 over the last 7 games, winning all 7 games. Winning all 7 of these games. It's time to start talking about Joel Embiid as one of the most skilled NBA players of all time. Because I think, not only that, but I think it's also time to start talking about Joel Embiid as a top 5 player in this league. LeBron in no order. LeBron, Giannis, Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, Joel Embiid. Some men see things like my man AZ say. Some men see things the way they are and say why. I see things that never was and say why not. Nobody's ever talked about this cat as far as to be a top 5 player in this league. Why not? Why not? Why can't I say the way that Joel Embiid has been playing over the course of the last 3 seasons, he's not top 5 in this league? Who are you legit putting over Joel Embiid right now in the NBA? Luka?
No.
Who you about to – it's time for us to start saying there ain't a damn thing Joel Embiid can't do on the basketball court. That's why I have him as a top 10 most skilled NBA player ever. Not just in this generation, ever. I had him at 10. Ever. Wow. There's
now I will say this. He's dominant on both sides of the basketball, which you know how I feel about that. I'm a big fan of that. That's number one, right? And what we can't leave out when we talk about Joel Embiid, don't forget he missed 3 weeks last year. If he doesn't miss those 3 weeks, what happens?
MVP.
We're having that conversation during the Eastern Conference semifinals. The First Union Arena is going MVP.
Yeah.
MVP. They're doing that, and Adam Silver is handing over the MVP trophy to him.
No doubt.
So no question about that. So with that being said, him coming into this season, I thought he was a top 10 player, arguably a top 5 player. But when I look at what he does, his ability to peel the back, his ability to clean glass, his ability to get the ball out in transition, I'd like to see him play on the box a little bit more, but I'm a little bit biased because of the big fella. But with that being said, his ability to knock down the mid-range, his ability to stretch the defense, his ability to play make, his ability to, which I have such a problem with people who don't respect the big man, which is what Joel Embiid is doing. His ability to rim protect, his ability to clean glass, like the traditional big man does. He has all of that other stuff in his game, absolutely. But I still play the 5.
Yeah.
I still do things at an elite level that a 5-man does. I still clean glass. I still rebound. I still protect the rim. I still protect the paint. I still do all of those things. and I'm dominant in the paint too. So when I get Rudy Gobert, who y'all all know how I feel about him, so when I get Rudy Gobert on the box and he turns into a bucket of extra crispy, you know to bring the peel over here. Absolutely. So when I get Joker on me and I get Joker back here, bring the peel over here because he can't do nothing with me neither.
Nothing.
And on top of that, I'm dealing with him on the defensive end. I'm handling myself against him on the defensive end. So when I look at Joel Embiid and I look at what Philadelphia is doing, being fifth right now in the East, and only 2 games out the 2 spot, I'll tell you what, if he keeps playing like this MVP talk, we're going to have to start talking about him.
No doubt.
We're going to have to start talking about him.
And that's
again.
what I love about Joel Embiid, that every time you came to play the Lakers in the early 2000s, you knew you was going to see Shaq, and you knew what you was going to deal with. Let's try to double him. Let's try to hack him in ways that the ref can't see. He's going to kill us in the paint. When you
stop right there. Whoa. Stop right there. When you had to go see Shaq, whatever he's going to do, we got to eat it.
Yeah.
We can't do nothing with him.
Yeah.
Same idea with Joel Embiid. That's what's happening with him now.
But the difference with Joel is he can make his own adjustments to kill you the way he want to kill you because of his skill level. If he faces a guy that, let's say he's facing a guy like Rudy Gobert. Rudy Gobert got some strength to him. Really not going to let you back him down. He's not going to let you have his way with him in the post as much. Joel can say, you know what? Let me drag your big ass to the deep end. Come out here, 7-footer. Oh, you got some good post defense. What about this perimeter defense, though? Because if you don't step up, I'm going to shoot this 3, and I'm shooting it at 34%. So if you don't step up, I'm going to shoot this 3 in your mouth. What you about to do? Give me this 22-footer? I'm clean from right here, too. What's up? Yeah, I'm going to hit 3 straight, and you're going to step up. Then what I'm going to do? I'm going to beat you off the dribble. Boom, boom, to get where I want to go. That's what I say. And people say, oh, like you said, the traditional back to the basket big, you feel like he should be in the paint more. But because of the situation that the 76ers are in, missing a Ben Simmons, missing, one of the leaders of the team, one of the guys that was drafted to be a cornerstone piece to this team, Joel Embiid has to do a little bit more. So he has to play on that perimeter a little bit more. He has to create for others. He averaging 4 assists this season as a center, which is tremendous. We spoiled by Joker, but that's tremendous. 27, 10, and 4 for Joel Embiid. And his skill set is just so Hakeem-esque. Like, every time I see him, I think of Hakeem. Like, these two are the two most skilled centers ever. Like, and it's just not even center at this point. It's player now. So, shout out to
I felt like that when he was coming out of college. That's who I thought I was looking at. When I saw him coming out of college, that's who I thought that I was seeing.
Yeah.
I'm looking at him, I'm going, this might be Olajuwon 2.0.
And it is. He did not disappoint.
That's what I was looking at.
He did not disappoint.
That's what I was looking at.
This man is he's amazing. It's not very many people you could mention, you could call their name out and say, what do they do bad? And you like, damn. You say, well, Kevin Durant, well, he ain't the best defender. He's cool. He ain't the best defender, though. What can you – LeBron, well, he ain't the best shooter. Free throw line kind of suspect. What can you say about Joel Embiid?
The only thing that I can say about Joel Embiid is it hasn't been – he has a tendency to be inconsistent. The dominance that he shows, he'll sometimes fade as opposed to – I'm 27-11 on a Tuesday. Pencil me in.
Right.
I'm 27-11, 4 and 2 blocks on a Tuesday afternoon. Pencil me in. That's and that's reaching. That's absolutely reaching because in terms of his game, there isn't much that I can talk about. There isn't much that I can honestly say. You need to get better at this. You need to get better at that.
I just look at this dude and see he personifies excellence. Johnny Wisconsin, appreciate you joining the stream, my man. But
yes, sir.
Shout out to Joel Embiid, man. He's a hell of a player. He's having a hell of a season, and like you say, if he can climb these charts a little bit more when it comes to these rankings, when it comes to these seedings, these standings, man, he needs to be put in that conversation for most valuable player this year because what he's doing and how he got Philly grooving. Look out, man. But remember I told y'all we like to make these lists. Y'all know I love to make teams. Last week we did a starting team full of underrated players in our opinions, right? Now we going to flip the script. So, you want me to go first or you got it?
That's my man. This is your show. Let's hear it. Let's hear it.
Okay, I'll go first, right? I'm going to put together a list of the most underrated or the most overrated players in NFL history. Hold on, Unc. Hold on, Unc. Now, Unc thumbs down and say trash for Gabricio. But just because you're overrated, in my opinion, does not make you trash. It just means what people think of you should not be the case. That's the definition of overrated, if you ask me, right? Example. Some people could say, to me, Bill Russell is overrated. Why? Because a lot of people have Bill Russell in their top 10. I don't feel like he's a top 10 player of all time. And I got a million reasons why. I'm on record multiple times stating it. I'm not just going to say that just to say it. I have a million reasons why. Very compelling arguments too, right? So am I saying Bill Russell's ass? No,
you're not.
I'm just saying he's not top 10, which would make him overrated. So that's where we're going to put it. I just had to draw that line out there so people don't hit me on TikTok tomorrow saying I was watching OG the Beast podcast and he said such and such was ass. At quarterback, I could have went a bunch of different ways. I could have went back to the 60s, 70s, could have went the finger wave, Broadway Joe. Could have went a lot of different ways, but I went spicy because I like spicy. Y'all know I like spicy.
It's Lowry's over here. That's what this is.
Man, I'm telling you.
Lowry's right here.
My quarterback is John Elway. 16 years in the NFL. 1 4,000-yard season. So sue me. Yeah, well, tell that shit to Brett Favre, who played around the same time, who had multiple 4,000-yard seasons. Tell that shit to Dan Fouts, okay? I ain't trying to hear it, right? 1 4,000-yard season. Double-digit interceptions every single year of his career. Gabricio didn't take care of the football. Not only did you not take care of the football, you're completing 56% of your passes for your career. That is terrible. I like my quarterbacks to complete at least 60 to 62% of their passes. 65% is all-time great. You know who's completing 65% of their passes for their career? Peyton Manning, Tom Brady. Those are guys that are completing. Drew Brees is damn near 70. That's elite. And the reason why I call this guy overrated is he's in a lot of people's top 10 quarterbacks of all time. He's not in mine. I'm taking Big Ben over him all day, all night. He's not in mine. That's why he's on this list. Running back, I got Jerome Bettis. Might shock a lot of y'all. Jerome Bettis. Big back, Jerome Bettis. Double-digit touchdowns twice in his entire career. Man was 300 pounds. Red zone back. How the hell you a red zone back finishing the season with 1,100 yards and 3 touchdowns? That's scat back numbers. Jerome Bettis, you got to do better, my boy. Facts. Wide receiver 1, give me Lynn Swann. I was running a series on TikTok where I was kicking people out the Hall of Fame. Y'all love them videos. I might have to start bringing that shit back. I was kicking folks out the Hall of Fame, right? Get him out the Hall of Fame. This was one of the guys I booted. 0 1,000-yard seasons. I don't care what area he played in. I don't care about that. Tell that shit to Don Hudson, who had 5 triple crowns in the 60s. I don't care. I'm telling you. Oh, well, he played. Tell that shit to Don Hudson. I don't care nothing about that. At wide receiver 2, Keyshawn Johnson. I always thought Keyshawn Johnson was the most overrated wide receiver. Number 1 pick in the draft. Keyshawn Johnson had a season in which he had like 1,400 yards and 1 touchdown. How the hell you had all them yards? You had all them yards and 1 touchdown. Like the water boy told him. Like water boy say, alligators are ornery because they got all them teeth and no toothbrush. That's your ass. You got all them yards and 1 touchdown. Boy, Keyshawn Johnson, your ass is garbage. Now, I'm going to call you garbage because your ass garbage. Fact. Shout out to them Bucks fans, though, because we finna bust y'all ass. We finna bust y'all ass this weekend, yeah. Keyshawn, he's a Bucks player. Yeah, shout out to the Bucks. on baby. Garbage. Tight end. Guess who my tight end is? I'm going to go new school for tight end. George Kittle.
What?
I think George Kittle is a bit overrated simply because this is why, right? His blocking is so bad. He can catch, he can run around. Listen, this man is, I don't care how you want to slice the pie, it's still a pie. He is not better than Travis Kelce. Whoever thinks George Kittle is better than Travis Kelce, give me your prescriber of whatever you smoking because I want a hit of it. I don't even get high, but I will get high with you that day because I want to feel that euphoric feeling that you feel to utter the words, George Kittle is better than Travis Kelce. It makes no sense to me. Anybody out of San Francisco, out of California, or you a diehard Niners fan, anybody outside of those two elements, I need to know what you're smoking. I need your prescriber because I want to take a hit of that shit with you. Facts.
I don't even think George Kittle better than Kelce. And
no way in hell. 5 consecutive 1,000-yard seasons. It's never been done. Damn consecutive. 5 1,000-yard seasons from a tight end has never been done over the course of a career. Kelce did it consecutive. Oh, but he got Patrick Mahomes. Sorry, one of those 1,000 yards was with Alex Smith. Try again. There's no other tight end like Travis Kelce. He will go down as the greatest tight end of all time if he keeps up this trajectory. No doubt about it. And if he was able to sustain a long career. So just off the strength of y'all comparing this man to Travis Kelce, that makes him overrated. And last but not least, my defense, I'm going to go new age again. Dallas Cowboys. Trayvon Diggs is nice. Micah Parsons is nice. But what else can you do? All of the turnovers, y'all led the league in turnovers. Y'all led the league in points scored by defense. Because of one man. All of the turnovers came from Trayvon Diggs. The rest of y'all, garbage. Straight like that. And that's my most overrated team of all time. Real talk.
Damn. All right. Well, I'm gonna start with the quarterback because that's a really good list. Absolutely, that's a really good list. So I only got one guy. Only got one guy on my list that's on your list. But I'm gonna start at the quarterback. I wanted to go with Joe Namath because I was looking at his numbers, but Joe Namath did make the All-Pro team 3 times, so I gotta respect that. But I'll start the quarterback with Cam Newton. Absolutely, I gotta start with Cam Newton. 3 seasons, he threw for 60%. Only 3 times in 10 years. Only 3 times in 10 years. Absolutely. Got a losing record in the playoffs. I'm good on Cam Newton. Number one overall pick in the draft. I'm good. Absolutely.
I'm good.
I'm good on Cam Newton. Absolutely. At the running back, Herschel Walker.
That's a great one. I thought about Herschel Walker.
2,000-yard seasons in 10 years. That's it, Herschel?
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah. 1 Pro Bowl. That's all I'm getting out of you is 1 Pro Bowl, no All-Pro teams, 2 1,000-yard seasons in 10 years. No, absolutely not. You was coming into the league, and you were touted as being a franchise back.
You know how overrated Herschel Walker is? Herschel Walker is so overrated. People still think he could play to this day because he's in great shape.
To this day, he's 50 years old, and there's people who still think that this dude could run in the NFL. Get the hell out of here. I'm good on Herschel Walker. Hell no. Now I think you gave me 2 running backs. Right? I think you gave me.
I had two wide receivers, 1 running back.
2 wide receivers and 1 running back.
You did 2 running backs?
No, I just did 1. Okay. So the one in the 2 wide receivers, one of the wide receivers, Keyshawn Johnson, 4,000-yard seasons, 0 All Pros, 0.
Yeah, he got it.
0 All Pros. Not one time did he make the All Pro team. I'm good on Keyshawn. Number 1 overall pick in the draft. Number 1, right? 4 1,000-yard seasons in 14 years. I'm good on Keyshawn. And my other wide receiver, and this may shock you, I'm going with Roy Williams from Texas. Played for the Cowboys. Man.
Cowboys? Detroit?
1 Pro Bowl. Right? The top 10 wide receiver. 1 Pro Bowl. 1 1,000-yard season. That's it.
Oh, he only had 1?
1. That's it. That's all you getting. 1 1,000-yard season in 8 years. That's it. Now, I'm not going to say Gabricio, but that's not good enough.
Yeah,
absolutely not good enough. No question about it. And when I think about the tight end, there's only one guy that comes to mind, and this is going to throw back to the late 60s, early 70s, and that's Charlie Sanders. Played for Detroit. Beast. He averaged 3 catches a game for 38 yards. Made the Hall of Fame. He is in the Hall of Fame. 3 catches, 38 yards.
That's
right?
why some of them guys don't be respecting the shit that was done in the 60s and shit like that, man.
38
like
yards. Trash. Absolutely not. This dude is in. It's only 8. It's 8 tight ends in the Hall of Fame, and he one of them.
That's
Give
crazy.
me a break on Charlie Sanders. I'm straight. And as far as my defense, this was easy for me. Oh, the Purple People Eaters was so overrated.
Ooh.
Give me a break. The Purple People Eaters was so overrated. Let's make sure we 100% clear about this. The best teams during that era, the Dolphins, the Raiders, the Chiefs, the Steelers, they shoved the ball down them dudes' throat. 215 yards a game against them dudes. Shoved the ball down them dudes' throat. They couldn't stop none of them teams. But they the Purple People Eaters. Trash. I'm good on you, dude.
Hey,
I want my money back. I want my money back. That's what I want. Alan Page was an incredible pass rusher.
Oh.
In terms of stopping the rush, I'm at the show. Boo! I want my money back. Give me my money back. Get these dudes out of here.
They imposters. They phonies.
Get these dudes out of here. I want my money back.
Hey. Incredible show. I had a lot of fun. That was a great show. Let's do some questions from the fans and let's get the hell out of here. W's in the chat if you enjoying yourself, man. Incredible show.
Man.
Incredible show. I loved it,
Absolutely.
man. Let's do some questions from the fans. Rain them in. What y'all got to ask? All the newcomers, appreciate y'all stopping through. We're going to answer a few questions before we get the hell out of here. Rain them in, y'all.
Absolutely, yo. No doubt.
Incredible show. I had fun today.
Memphis going to beat these dudes.
Memphis
yes, they are.
On everybody. They got the longest win streak right now.
We broadcast every Tuesday and Friday night at 8 o'clock Central, 9 o'clock Eastern. Every Tuesday and Friday night we do it.
Big W's. Appreciate that. More skilled overall, Hakeem or Embiid?
That's a tough one, man. That is a tough one. I think Joel is a better athlete, right? I think he's a better athlete. I think that his mid-range game and his ability to pass the ball in that area, I think that he edges Joel Embiid, and I think that he edges Joel Embiid in a lot of other things, but it's not by much.
At all.
It's not like this. It's not a huge gap. I do think that he's more skilled than him, but it's close. Absolutely it is.
Yeah, I agree. Out of respect, I'm going to say Hakeem. Do y'all believe Steph Curry when he said the 2017 Warriors could beat the 96 Bulls?
I don't. No, I do not, because I'm thinking about which era we playing in. And if we playing in the 17 era, then that means that Klay Thompson, you can't put hands on Michael Jordan. Good luck trying to deal with him. Good luck trying to deal with him.
Good luck.
Right? Good luck trying to deal with Scottie Pippen in transition, Draymond. Not being able to put hands on him. Right?
Yeah.
And Ron Harper chasing around Steph Curry and not being able to. And as big as they are, because the Bulls had a big team, yo. Yeah. Let's make sure we clear on that. Ron Harper, a bit is 6'7". Jordan 6'6". Yeah. Scotty goes 6'9".
6'9".
Right?
Yep. Rodman
Scotty goes
6'9".
So
Luke
Rodman 6'7", 6'8". That was a big unit.
Yeah.
So they would have a real difficult time with that Bulls team. Very difficult.
Can T.J. Watt be a top 10 pass rusher of all time? Let me tell you something about T.J. Watt. T.J. Watt already in his career has nearly 100 sacks. I think he might be over 100 sacks. He has nearly 100 sacks. Let me double check that because I want to be on the correct side, right? Let's see how many sacks T.J. Watt has for his career as of right now. T.J. Watt has 72 sacks right now, right? 72 sacks in 5 seasons, T.J. Watt.
I was about to say, what is he in, year 5, year 6, something like that?
Yeah. 72 sacks in 5 seasons. The all-time record is Bruce Smith with 200, right? So let's say he keeps this trajectory up in another 5 years, he'll have close to 200 sacks in 10 seasons. Bruce Smith played damn near 2 decades. So that should tell you everything you need to know.
Bruce Smith played 20 years, as a matter of fact. Yes, he did.
So that should tell you everything you need to know. So will he have a chance to be a top 10 pass rusher of all time? Shit, he damn near there right now with almost close to 100 sacks. So if he keeps us this trajectory, anything can happen.
You figure this out, Beast. If he continues at this trajectory in another 5 years, that's almost 150 sacks.
Yeah.
In 10 years.
Yeah.
Nah,
and then he could dwindle his career down, 10 sacks here, 8 sacks here for the next 5 to 6 years. Next thing you know, he's knocking on Bruce Smith's door.
Yep.
Like, it's going to be tough. What would have happened if T-Mac joined AI? I didn't hear about that. T-Mac joined AI in Philly? Mm-hmm. That would have been nasty. Shit.
Well, would it have been? Because remember that, T-Mac ended up getting he got Weber on the other side too when Weber was beat up.
Yeah.
And how'd that go? That didn't go that well.
True.
With him and Weber. So if we bring in T-Mac in, who at that time, we talking about a dude who was possibly, he wasn't made of glass, but he was beat up a lot. So I don't know how that would have went.
You know what's crazy? As I sit back and think about it, what's crazy is when OKC was bringing James Harden off the bench, and he was winning 6th Man of the Year and all that shit. At that time, I was having a conversation with my cousin. He was like, man, they just need to start Harden. He want to start. He going to mess around and leave. They just need to start Harden. And I'm like, man, they can't start Harden. That's too much offense on the court at the same time. That was what I said out loud. I said, that's way too much offense. You ain't going to be able to start Russell Westbrook, Kevin Durant, and Harden at the same time. Look at the league today. Like, it's just crazy to think. That wasn't even that long ago I said that, and now that shit is doing shit like that is the norm. So it's like, it's crazy. With Anthony Simmons balling in Portland, you think they considering moving Dame?
Not yet. Not yet.
Dame has been playing like shit too, and Simmons has been balling as of late since Dame has been out, but I don't know, man.
Not yet.
Dame's loyalty is going to be the demise of his career. I hate to say it, but at this point, I kind of hope they trade him to a situation where he can at least attempt to win a ring. Like, at least make it look like he didn't want to go, but he had no choice but to go. So, I don't know, man. I don't know, man. We'll see how that goes. But we're going to get on up out of here, man. W's in the chat if you enjoyed yourself. This is the Sports Behavior Podcast. We show every Tuesday, every Thursday, or every Friday night. Tuesday, Friday night, 8 p.m. Central Time. Be there or be square. If you can't catch it live on Twitch right here on this platform, it will be up on YouTube the next day. So everybody in here, head to the Sports Behavior Podcast YouTube. Drop us a subscribe. Support us over there too. Hit that like button if you're new. Take us home.
Until then, take it light, but take it.
We out.
See you guys. Be easy.